Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Comix Rant Mini. And I'm your host, Arvin Bautista. And today we're going to go through Barry Windsor Smith's Monsters. I bought this a while ago. I meant to do an episode about it, but just haven't gotten a chance. There's a lot of comics out there. And this book is published by Fantagraphics, and I knew it was coming out prior to seeing it at the shop, but I don't know what happened. I just kind of blanked out and didn't have him hold it for me. But I was glad he had a few copies of this book. It's 360 pages, and it's actually the book that Windsor Smith has been working on for quite a good number of years. I can't remember how long, but it's been a while. And I haven't really seen much of his stuff. I can't remember why, but before I bought this, I was kind of getting all nostalgic, and I was like, I wonder what happened to that guy. I had like his Weapon X stuff from Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine and all that kind of stuff, and started remembering just how good that was. I was doing some research on him, and there's a lot of stories out there about how, about like how very much into his own stuff he was and all this yada, yada, yada. Anyway, that's not really the purpose of this channel or this episode. I usually just look at comics and love them for what they are. There's maybe some background stuff on the artists, but this is how I approach a lot of the books that I read, and I kind of I can separate the author from their work most of the time. So, I don't know. Sorry if some of these episodes are offensive because some of these authors are kind of weirdos, but I just really like the work. I love comics a lot, and that's what this is all about. I need some comic book therapy today, so this is kind of where I went. I am currently in between jobs, looking for a permanent job. I am freelancing, all this stuff going on, insurance woes, blah, blah, blah. And strangely enough, I'm getting re-energized into trying to push my own comic myself. So a lot of the independent artists and creators, I get a lot of inspiration from them, seeing that they've pushed it through, they've done their own thing. Of course, this is Barry Windsor Smith, so he can pretty much publish anything he wants. But I am astounded by the volume and quality of the work that he's produced here as I'm flipping through this, so you can kind of see what's going on. I'm probably going to have a ton of spoilers if you pause the episode and look at the words, I suppose. But that is not the purpose here. The purpose is really to kind of soak in all this stuff, browse through this book. If you guys have not looked at it, and maybe compel you guys to buy it. It's very good. So maybe I should try doing a sales pitch on you. But this is why I like it. I like it because, well, for one, it's 360 pages. And the other is it's a black and white book. And I love seeing books in black and white. Just seeing the artist's talent in composing a page with just black and white. And the hatchwork, of course. Big fan of hatchwork. But even just how these pages look. They look really, really fantastic. Distinct faces, distinct characters. And you know what? He writes a really good story. I really liked it. I like how he characterized a lot of these people. How he built these characters up. How he had side stories. How they had pasts. How they had histories. And how they all kind of like met within each other's lives and within the course of the book. It was really well done. I'm only familiar with his stuff primarily with maybe the X-Men stuff, but it was his Weapon X stuff back in the 90s that I knew he like wrote that story and he drew it. And, it's set up as Wolverine's origin story, but there's not a lot of like words. There's a lot of people getting killed. There's not a lot of words, and the story was good enough. It was fun. It was entertaining. Definitely a landmark in his artwork. It was beautiful. Beautiful face. This is like a Barry Windsor Smith style. Like, the more I did research on the stuff that I missed that he did, he was very into fantasy kind of books. I think he went to like Valiant and all these other third party, not mainstream comic book publishers, and he produced a lot of work. Solar, and I think, did he draw Solar? Eternal Warrior, they're just things like that. Anyway, so this is more, it's set back, well, actually it's set through a span of generations, which is also kind of really cool that he did that. It's very masterful. He does this cool stuff with where this guy's just kind of yelling, and it's in German, and he's using this typography to kind of gives us like this old, it's like this calligraphy style, but it's also bursting. Well, it's not bursting. It's in the border of the balloon, but it's way too big to be understandable, right? So you can kind of get this, like he's talking really loudly because the words are huge. So is she, but he's just talking gibberish. And anyway, yes, it spans a good number, 2 generations at least. And, you know, from 1949 even to 1945, like World War II. You got Nazis in here. You got, I think it then jumps to was it the 80s? No, 60s. I don't think there was any 80s going on here at the 60s. And it kind of follows a number of characters. There's mainly one, obviously, which is the monster of the book. But it has all these side characters that he kind of meets, and they all have their own interesting backgrounds. His family, his mother, also has a background story. His father, and then these crazy scientist general dudes, which reminds me a lot of Weapon X, people getting experimented on. It is not like Weapon X at all, by the way. I forgot. There's some cool action sequences here. For the most part, it's good dramatic stuff, right? Like if you see me flipping through here, you can see. But there's also some cool action sequences going on. But he does really good with the dramatic stuff. I have to say. I didn't really know what the book was going to be about, but this guy's getting tailed, right? There's some cool looking panels here, nicely composed with the shadows going on. It's a chase scene. It's a car chase scene, which is cool. He tries to lose this guy, and then I think here is when the guy actually catches up to him, so it gets all super actiony with lots of cool lettering that he's got going on here. And you can see it's just fantastic stuff. He's going all out. Every panel, every page is just incredible looking. You know, he's sparing no expense. I love this typography. Sparing no expense. It really does feel like a work of love, a labor of love. Yeah, everybody's face is like got that Barry Windsor Smith hatching. He does not let up, guys. Like, it's just crazy. Here's the monster guy. It's got a lot of government, political stuff going on here. Secret agencies, romance. There's romance in here that's played off really, really well. Look at this page. Look at these. Look at this hatching. That's great. Smoke effects. Sound effects. Doom, doom, doom. All right, I'll stop that now. Just really good stuff. Monsters in snow. So you got a little Weapon X going on there. And the cool part is, as a reader, you're definitely, I mean, the book is called Monsters. So you're like, yeah, I'm ready for some monsters. But I won't spoil it, but he actually dives deeper into that meaning. And he also, when he switches characters that you follow, so you don't always follow the monster guy, you'll follow his mom, you'll follow this guy that is helps him out, you'll even follow his dad. They're done really interestingly. They're handled very well, that when you switch gears and you follow these characters, it's good. You're just as invested with following this cool monster guy, right? That you think you're going in here for. And then it starts informing the character, the main character, which is great. Though he does this cool, so they're all just kind of smoking in this room. I'm not sure if there's a symbolic meaning to it. There kind of is. Spider on the Oreo, but it looks great. Like he kind of goes back in here with this white pen to continue his hatching and give it even more atmosphere. And then he has journal entries, and I'm so much of a comic head that usually I cannot read stuff like this because it's like real reading. But it's really good. He plays this really well. He handles the journal entries really well. I was really sucked into it, the whole thing, and then he'll break it up with like panel sequences, and then back into the letters again. And it was really a good chunk of this book that was kind of surprising, because the book isn't usually set up this way, but also very well done. If I haven't said it's already well done, then I'm telling you it's well done. Rain effects, sucker. I'm a sucker for rain effects, so yes. Must buy because of the rain effects. And like, he just hatches the grass. Hatches the grass. I mean, it's just fantastic. A fantastic story to boot. So, highly recommend you guys pick it up. It is not for kids. It is quite a mature subject matter, really well handled. Ooh, oh yeah, it's starting to get real. Okay, I'm gonna try to. But look at this panel, this craziness. How's that? I mean, if I haven't convinced you to buy anything, then I have failed. Look at this. Just so good. Even this was like this kind of really good. And then he also has like moments of horror, right? Not in like the boogeyman kind of horror, which you would think it should have because it's called Monster, but in like a very, the easy description would be like Nazi type horror, right? But there's more things that happen. That's just the easiest one for me to kind of get you guys a picture of what kind of scary things are going on in this book. Towards the end, he kind of loosens up, and but it's honestly just like he doesn't hatch it as tight. It looks like he's kind of just trying to finish the rest of this book, and I'm not saying that in a critical way at all, because guys, this is 360 pages of craziness, of sheer awesome artwork. I'm not even sure how he got through the first 10 pages. To be honest, it's so much work. I don't know how he poured himself out into this book that I totally understand. By the last, here, we'll even count it. It's not that much, and it still looks good, right? It's still his stuff. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, am I counting right? I can't even count. I need my coffee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like 10, 12 pages. 10, 12. I mean, it's still good. Right? It's still good. Maybe like the last 20 pages? Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys are actually seeing what I'm trying to talk about, but he loosens up a bit. So he doesn't hatch everything like a crazy man. He just hatches it like a normal man. Because, he's Barry Windsor Smith, so nothing is normal with this man. He's just freaking amazing. But, that's super minor. Like, it's so hard to finish. As artists, it's so hard to keep this much dedication. I mean, this is just a testimony. It's such a great example for me. Like, hey man, you gotta push hard, right? Like, this is the kind of book, kind of artist that kind of like encourage me to keep working on my stuff. Even when stuff is bad, even when things are down, push, right? Push through. And he does. And it's Windsor Smith stuff is just so excellent. This book is absolutely fantastic. Please go out and buy it. It is worth every dollar. Speaking of which, how much was it? Oh, $40. Okay, $40. But this is like easily 5 years worth of his life. I think it may have been more. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Comix Rant Mini. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I am your host, I'm your host, Arvin Bautista, and I will see you guys next time on Comix Rant.